All right, Ainsley, here to weigh in, Fox News contributor and author of the upcoming book, Trump and the American Future, Newt Gingrich. Let's zoom to him via Skype. He is joining us from Rome. Mr. Speaker, good morning to you. Thank you very much. So what do you make of this particular approach the president is taking to hit Biden over he and Barack Obama have messed up everything regarding China? Is that going to resonate?
Well, first of all, the president's right. You go back and look at the, I think, 2013 agreement that Biden and Obama made, which allows Chinese companies to raise money in the U.S. without meeting the same accounting standards as American companies. So several American investors have lost billions of dollars because some of these companies just plain lie. That's an Obama-Biden mistake, which I think is going to be corrected by Trump. But it gives you an example of how much they gave the Chinese. In addition, Biden has this little program up at the University of Pennsylvania, which refuses to tell us how much of its money comes from China. And we know that the Chinese have been out trying to buy influence at a variety of universities, many of whom are fighting the effort to find out where their money comes from. And the Chinese have been playing this game. Biden has been part of that kind of world. And I think we ought to be honest. He said himself, we don't have to be afraid of the Chinese. They're not ever going to be a threat to us. You just take his own quotes, and you realize this is a guy who sees the Chinese communists basically as really good business partners. And of course, with his son, Hunter Biden, they may have been really good business partners. We still don't know all the details.
If you want to go at Joe Biden, if he wants to go at President Trump on his economic principles, it is not. He didn't do a tax break for the rich. He did a corporate tax break where a lot of people work in corporations. It was the highest in the world from developed countries, so he could do it that way. But Newt, you have a guy on energy who wants to ban coal. He wants to stop offshore drilling, and he wants to stop fracking. Basically, you lose every battleground state if the president can effectively outline what Joe Biden stands for, let alone what he stands for when it comes to China, correct?
Well, not just that. You would lose every single state where people drive cars. You'll lose every state like New Hampshire where they use fuel oil. The Biden program, which is directly from the hard left, is basically we could have a terrific environment if nobody went to work, nobody had a job, nobody ever drove a car. And so why don't we kill all the industries that have made us a successful country? I think if Biden really wants to pick a fight with Trump over the economy, that he has just gone down an alley that makes no sense at all. All you have to do is list the Obama-Biden 8-year unemployment level and the Trump 4-year achievement and ask yourself, which of these two do you think works better? And the polling numbers are the people trust President Trump to bring us back out of this mess much more than they trust Biden when you ask them about the economy.
So you don't think that that's a wise move for him to blame? See, because think about this, the economy was doing so well before Corona. That was one of Trump's strengths. And then Corona hits, and now Biden is going to use that and say, look at the economy now. You know, so many people are unemployed.
Right. But here's the problem. In the red states where you have pro-Trump governors, they're opening up. In the blue states, like New York, where Cuomo is a total disaster, the gap between how many jobs we create in the red states and how many jobs we kill in the blue states by September will be amazing. And the fact is, there is no excuse for any of these states to be closed up. There's a report just came out of Stanford that we are better off, for example, to go back to school in September, period. The Germans just issued a report. They're absolutely opening up every kindergarten, every K through 12, putting kids back in school immediately. And I just think that in the blue states where they follow old-time liberalism and where politicians like Cuomo want to have power without accountability, they're going to have a weak economy. And in the places where people understand what Trump's doing and they want to have a real life and they want to have real jobs, I think they're going to do well. That'll be one of the most vivid gaps in American history. And I think it'll teach people a real lesson about what works and what fails.
Well, Mr. Speaker, you know, they've moved the goalposts. Initially, it was flatten the curve, and we flattened the curve, and now we're on the back side of it. But yesterday, Governor Cuomo said regarding Staten Island would like to reopen, but because they've met 7 of the state's metrics for reopening, but Governor Cuomo said no because Staten Island is part of New York. A lot of people work in New York, and so absolutely not. And even though New York State, when you look at New York State, there's a sharp decrease in the number of cases and hospitalizations, which is what it was going to take to reopen. And so it looks like all those metrics have been met, and yet Governor Cuomo just goes, no, not yet.
Well, let's be honest. And you had some of this with Tammy Bruce a few minutes ago. No one has been more dangerous for senior citizens than Governor Cuomo. No one is, and he lies, plain out lies, when he says he was following the Center for Disease Control principles. I got a copy of them. I know exactly what it said, and what he did not follow the guidelines. People have died because of his bad judgment, and if he doesn't reopen the state, more people are going to die because of Cuomo's bad judgment. It's obscene to have somebody who's this ignorant wielding this level of power and listening to nobody. I mean, you have to wonder, you know, other than his brother late at night when they're playing games on television, who does he listen to? Because his policies make no sense. And by the way, you take those states right around New York, that's the center of people who are dying today in America from COVID. And all the other rest of the country is making tremendous progress. But New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, that's the disaster. And frankly, Washington, D.C., those are the disaster zones.
Half hospitality jobs have disappeared in New York, New Jersey, and California. 4% of construction jobs have been lost in Florida. 41% have been lost in New York and 27% in New Jersey. What they're doing, Newt, is keeping people scared to death to do anything. Therefore, they're not going to pay politically. When people start looking at the stats and understand what the real fear is and understand what has been going on here, hopefully we'll put politics aside and people will vote with how they've been deceived. Thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to do it. Thank you.